Good morning to everyone and welcome to Learn to Trade Live and Free. I am joined by Orlando this morning. Yeah, he's not in the room just yet, but he will be along imminently, I'm sure. Let me just make sure that we are nicely on YouTube, that I can see you guys. And not yet. Where are you guys? Okay, I'm going to presume that we're on. There we go. There we go. It looks like we are on YouTube. So let's just send you my screen. Brilliant, Swee. How are you doing, buddy? We may well have a trade set up nice and early this morning. I'm just waiting on this FTSE 100 just to close up on this hourly, and then I'm going to put an order in the market. So let's put these in here. That looks like a pretty good level there. Daily pivot looks pretty good. 61.04 is the level. So we can get prepared for it now, but I quite like it. So it's going to be for a short in the FTSE. So FTSE 100, and it is a short. And the level is 61.04. We'll put the stops here at the highs, and then and see if we have to control them at all. 61. Can we go 4? Can we go 4? Yeah, we could do that. We can go 61.4. We can go 61.44 for our stop loss, just to make it easier. We'll use this as our target down here. So we're looking really for the monthly pivot, possibly beyond, which is where we'll make the decision on. So we've got 72 down. Yeah, it'll be about a 2-to-1 down to that point. So we might take half off there, giving us a 1%. And then we will see if we can just let the rest run, move stops to break even, see if we can let the rest run. So see if we can get at least 1% out. How are you doing, Shukri? Yeah, they're noisy this morning, aren't they? They are noisy. Let me just close this. There we go. They are noisy seagulls this morning. Yeah, looking forward to your session later, Shukri. I'm getting pretty close to making a decision, I have to say. I'm back on to making my choice on which one that is coming up trumps for me. Back onto Cardano. I think Ethereum doing what it did over the last few days has just probably taken the shine off it for me a little bit. So I'm back into the Cardano train, and I'd like to get into a long in that in the coming days. And also Tesla. Can't believe that we didn't get into that Tesla trade. It was moving so fast last Thursday. It was really tough to get into, but a 10% hike yesterday in the Tesla price, and also I think it was up 13% at one point during the session yesterday. So an astonishing move for Elon Musk and Tesla. Here we go. Right, let's put this trade in the market. So I need it at. It's a sell limit, and it is going to be 61.04. Place that. Now the stop loss will be up there, but I am going to do it manually. If I get kind of kicked into it, I will do it manually rather than getting me straight in with a stop loss here. So firstly, let's see if we get our price. And then we'll come back to do the rest in a moment. Now I'm going to be quiet-ish as I see if I can get into this market. There we go. Another amazing story with gold as well. Which we'll look at all that stuff in a moment. I'm just opening up my other account here, so just bear with me one moment while I see if I can get this on. In a few accounts. There we go. Okay, so this is going to be 92. Okay, one more. I'll put orders in rather than trying to do the market. Oops. There we go. All right, all of that's done. So now Jeff and I were. Oh, let me just tell you how the barometers have kicked off this morning so far. Yeah, it looks fairly flat actually. We've got around about 50% of stocks in positive territory, and the rest of them sitting to the downside. Quick story, really. A few things to note. Barrick Gold was bought up yesterday, and shares bounced. What was that bounce on yesterday's move? Huge move with Barrick Gold yesterday. Oh no, it's Frejnillo. But we'll get to the gold story in a moment. But this is just really one for the watch list, and we'll talk about it in the US show in a bit more detail. But Warren Buffett has dipped his hands in his pocket and decided that he likes the share 11%, nearly 12% higher. Barrick Gold by the close. So Barrick Gold and Tesla were the big stories yesterday. Now that one obviously would need to come back a little bit. There's a big old gap sitting there, but also I do see the price of gold, maybe under particular. It could be under some stress here. There's the levels for the FTSE 100. It is a short, and we'll see if we can get into that later on, maybe. Let's just have a look at gold and the Aussie CAD as well. We will look at, because that's a stock that a currency pair that Jeff and I are interested in, and I'll show you the price action on that. So gold itself, I'm not so confident that we haven't finished the downside as yet. I think it may well have happened, but it looks to me like it might just maybe get to this pivot point. I'm not sure. Difficult to see off that particular price action. Actually, not that easy to see there either. Well, it is a bit of an issue with gold, because we definitely want to buy gold, but with what happened with the big move to the downside and the current bounce back, it's going to make it difficult here. Possibly we could try and get in at that point now. So maybe if it comes down here and gives us a buy signal, then we can have a look into that. But it has been a difficult train to get on board with gold, and the same with silver actually as well. which I prefer of the two. If I could get into either, it'd be the silver price I'd like to get into. I suppose on the dailies, maybe silver could find some pressure here at 28.26. So I'd like to get into silver as well, but that one hasn't come back quite far enough. But then, we live in times where things just may not come back in the same way that they used to. So we just have to get our heads around that. Not going to be easy, and this is some of the problem when you miss the first run. Yes, Barrick Gold bought by Buffett, Shukri, which is, that's a not only is that a huge signal for the market about that particular stock, but it's also a huge signal for the market about gold. So we should be looking potentially at looking at either buying gold or a gold stock. We got Fresnillo as well, which it may be something that that catches up. In the UK, we have Fresnillo and Polymetal. Fresnillo currently sitting up around about 4%, sorry, 1% this morning. But it is putting in a head and shoulders pattern, which again we'll talk about later on in the US show and see what we can get exposed to here. And I can't share the charts that I've got for these in this because it's a public domain. So, and I'll explain what that means later on. Polymetal International, interesting that hasn't had much of an uplift so far this morning. In actual fact, it is very, very slightly negative. Not even of a tenth of 1% lower this morning, but it is very, very slightly negative. So it maybe is suggesting that there could be, possibly an opportunity with one of those as well. FTSE 100 is a tricky one, really. FTSE 100 could be shaping for quite a big move to the downside. You look at this on the weekly. This is our weekly bar here, and that does suggest that there could be a decent run lower. Looking at the dailies, yesterday it looked like that could be just a higher low, and it might be, but it might also be a breakthrough. It might be a breakthrough, not also, but instead it might be an actual breakthrough, a level. Not easy to find it. Oops. Now, I don't want to get into kind of like fear of missing out here, but if we start breaking down this low point, then it might well be that we are going lower from here, and we don't get the opportunity. But if that's to happen, it won't be a major problem because it looks to me that we're either going to get our intraday price, quite a nice intraday price by all accounts. I think that would be okay, a pretty good intraday price there, even if it pops up a little bit higher. It might well tuck into that point here. So we're either going to get our intraday price, or it's possible, if we don't get our intraday price, that we have to wait for the next move, which means that it's got to get through here. It's going to be pretty much the same price we are now. So that is where we are at. Hi, Helen. Unfortunately, Jeff Furrick is not here. Oh yeah, I'd like to hear about the Buffett crypto, Shukri, actually, and it's interesting, isn't it? Because we see Barrick Gold up, near 12% yesterday, just from the fact that Buffett's bought it. Because when we look at the other gold stocks, they haven't jumped in the same way, so it's not a gold story. That's a Buffett story, and that does suggest that we probably could come down a little bit first. Now, yes, you show me the crypto thing. I'm interested to find out what this staking on Cardano is. So maybe you can go through that a little bit with me later. I don't want to kind of put you off your flow, but maybe you can go a little bit through that. Gives 4.63 a year. I'd like that. I'd like to know what the risk on that is as well, obviously. And we should always figure out what the risk is really before we take any kind of trade. So You can tell me about Buffett crypto. That'd be fantastic. We can hear about Cardano. I have got an approach, to be honest, Shukri, that I probably will follow unless you can convince me there's a better way. So if there's no better way, if there's a better way of approaching this stuff, then or this particular, Cardano particularly, then I'm certainly all ears. But I am likely to be buying up some Cardano with a bit of price action in my favor. The issue with Cardano is that it's and what the charts look like. There is for everybody else that the chart on Cardano is just formed a bit of a head and shoulders pattern, which does suggest that there could be a bit of weakness before we see some strength. So I'm just waiting to see if I can get 11 cents for my coins if that can come down just a little bit. I wouldn't be hodling here, that's for sure, with a potential reversal pattern. So I'd like Cardano lower. I think Ethereum is potentially going to come lower at some point in the near term, and we can have a look at those later on. But while I remember, let's get to the Aussie CAD that both Jeff and I liked yesterday, and so far it hasn't really provided interesting price action on yesterday, because I saw this bar and I was getting quite excited that there might be a trade on, but it did not give us an opportunity, because we have to consider kind of like both factors here, and the trend line was still holding up. Look how nice that trend line was. Look at where it is now. Hold on a minute, I didn't see that before. Let me just see whether this is an opportunity here. Oh, it is an opportunity. I'm going to take this. So I'm trading an Aussie CAD short here. And I'm just going to make sure that I've got all my accounts open. Very well. Hold on one second. I need to get to this Aussie CAD. There we go. Right, I've taken the Aussie CAD short here. Now let me give you the levels on that. I'll leave the FTSE sit there and see if I can also get into that one as a short. But looks like the FTSE's edging lower, so it might not be the same opportunity. There we go. So Aussie CAD, and we'll talk about why in a moment. Aussie CAD is a short, and the price is pretty much where we are, so 0.9522. And we'll talk about the stops in a moment. Now, what I've done is gone in really light here, and the reason I've gone in light is that what I'd quite like is for a really wide stop just to get us started. Now, I'm not sure whether that's... Now, I like this. So this area here is where I'm going to eventually put my stop. But for right now, and look at it. Look at where we are with this Aussie CAD. Lovely turning point here. Touch there, and we haven't quite got a touch in here. But it looks like a pretty decent place for the trend line break there. Now, if this is to come up and reject the trend line, I can start tucking in at the top there. But for right now, I've kind of got my move all the way up there. But what I like about this is the potential break here. No, I'm not exactly sure where this level is. Oh, no, it looks like there's a trend line along there. Because that looked like where we need to bounce, where we bounced before. Now, if it comes down and takes that low out, we're in really good shape. There's the channel that we're in. But what we've got here is a horizontal level there. We've got our fib there, which I'll just blow up for you guys so you can see it a bit better. We got our fib in this same area here. Let me get rid of these drawings. Fib in this same area here. You know, price has come down. It's retraced. It got through the 23.8, 23.6 retracement. Then it went up to the 38.2 retracement, which is my favorite retracement. And it looks like it's rolling over here. Now, forget the pivots for right now, because if it comes through the pivots, we're in really good shape. But forgetting the pivots right now, the price point looks really good, because remember, those pivots will move. So this may sort of like float around here for the whole week, but this price point will not move. And as long as it stays here, the fib won't move. That's going to be the highest point to the lowest point. So we've got the fib retracement, we've got the horizontal level, and we've got the trend line. Now, this questionable whether it needs to test the trend line, which is why I'm giving myself a lot of room on how much I've put on the trade. So it may end up coming up here, and you know, I've got plenty of room. I'll probably leave it until the 50%. So let's leave a soft stop loss if you guys want to do this, just to give yourself some room. So we got really the stop loss is going to be probably around about 0.95650. And I guess we could put in a target at this low down here. So the previous low, 0.94450, I guess. So it's going to be the 65 you're interested in there. $0.94. Probably 40 actually. Something like that. Now that's going to be a TP1, and then we'll see if we can get anything that comes through our level from that point down there. But I really like the structure of this one. Now let's talk a little bit about the currency pair itself. Alan, I'm currently on the. Oh, I'm gonna. Yeah, we'll check out the euro pound, Helen. Yep, sounds good. Yep, cool. Okay, so it doesn't look like anybody else is trading this, which is absolutely fine. So I'm going to move on from this then, and we will talk about the euro pound instead. Euro pound. Okay, now this one's a tricky one, isn't it? Let's get rid of some of these lines. Yeah, the euro pound has proved to be very, very difficult to trade. And it remains so. So first, let's get to some numbers. Now, in fact, yeah, let's get to some numbers, and then we can talk about the euro pound in a little bit more detail. Bring this over there. Right, so nothing really out from either of those two pairs that we've seen the last couple of days. And tomorrow we have CPI from the UK. Nothing major really. 30-year bond auction from Europe is not going to be that significant. Nothing on the Philly Fed. And then we have so I've just seen that I think. Oh, Orlando, I can see that you're in the room, buddy, but no, I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you. Yeah, sorry, Euro Flash PMI. So this is the big number Friday. Now, because of this being reported, and it really is, very, very significant, because this is being reported, then it will probably mean, and then we have some big numbers from the UK actually as well. Flash PMIs on at 9:30 in the UK, services PMI. So because these numbers are quite important and big numbers, it just means that it means that this may not move very far. We might sort of see it just kind of like stay in this range. So my suggestion would be, let's see what, let's wait for those numbers. Let's see if they're significant at all. They might not be, but if those numbers have any kind of significance, then we can trade it after the event. Because we're really trying to build the picture on the euro pound. I'm finding it a bit of a clouded, the whole thing a bit clouded right now. One thing I would say is that the UK is one of the only countries, out of the some of the ones that we trade that are down to that 0.1% of an interest rate, whereas most of the others are at that 0.25% rate, which makes the Aussie CAD a bit of a tricky one, because they are, you're not going to make anything on the carry, and that in itself doesn't make it quite as an attractive proposition. The big question you have to ask yourself, Helen, with any of this stuff is there any value? At the particular prices, is the value likely to change from action that the ECB or the Bank of England will need to take? And if the value is not likely to change, then we probably sort of stay in this kind of weird kind of hiatus situation. So I'd be a little bit careful just trading it now. That's really my point here. Maybe it's a bit early to be trading the euro versus the pound. It looks like it's just got caught in a bit of a crosswind, and it may not come out of this. But if we're looking at it technically, I still can't hear you, Orlando. I don't know if you can hear me. Oh, maybe I need to print it to him. There we go. Yeah, if we're going to be looking at this technically with the euro pound, because look what's happened. Really, the kind of volatility on this one has gone right out the window. So we were talking about this yesterday. There's no way you can trade this on a short-term time frame. It's really going to be on some longer-term time frames. Now, I'm not sure what strategy you employ or what strategies you have in the bank. What strategies but this one, I would suggest you would need a longer term strategic approach to the way you trade it. So you're looking at a daily setup. Brilliant. Okay. No, that's a good idea. So let's think about it then. So what's the daily chart telling you, Helen? What do you see? Are you seeing a long? Or are you seeing a short? Okay. All right. Okay, let me look at that. I didn't realize that. Okay. Let me look at that as a... I mean, to be fair, the long looks better to me than the short anyway, but let's just have a look. Okay, I see what you've done there. Right, okay. All right, let's talk you through this then. So you went long because in actual fact, Helen, there's something you're missing. Now, are you keeping a journal? This is really important that you keep this journal, because it's an easy mistake you've made, but it's going to be much clearer to you in the future if you can write this down. So try and get this in your journal. And I suspect what you've done is this. You've looked at the two indicators have lined up, and you've taken the trade. Is that right or wrong? Your two trending indicators, they've lined up and you've gone long. Is that right? I absolutely will look at that. Well done, Helen. All right, we're going to get to that. Nice one. All right, we'll talk about that Wednesday. So with I'm presuming that's what's happened, Helen. But remember that, yes, great. Okay. So there's something very specific that you're missing, and that is the cyclicity. Because what's happened here, so remember, you need all things to line up, and what you've really got is, this is a cycle higher. There's the higher low. There's the higher high. There's the higher low. Now that has stopped our upper cycle. You know, now what we've got is a lower high right here. So now we come down, and what we've got here is a higher low. So we've got a squeeze going on. Now, this is possibly now turning into a lower high. So the only way you could trade this, now I don't know if there was a signal down here, I doubt there was, but you either trade in around the higher low, or you're waiting for this to establish itself, because it hasn't as yet established itself. You know, what we've got now is this kind of triangular range going on. So we are missing now. If we are looking at the daily wave rider as a trend following strategy, there's no trend. Yeah, I can't get Orlando in the room. He's around, but I'm not hearing him. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Does that make sense, Helen? Yeah, but what you're doing is you're focusing on the indicators instead of the price action. Now, I specifically use a clean chart before I do anything. And that's to give me clarity on the price action. So the price is king. Remember that. Price is king, or queen, if you like. Oh, okay. He's in as a viewer. No problem. Okay, I can do that. There he is. You're right there, Orlando. Sorry, what scream's going on there? Are you in with me now? There he is. How you doing, buddy?
I'm fine. How are you, mate?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. We get there in the
Finally,
end. Yeah. Sorry, mate. Just to finish this one point, I was just talking
Go
to Helen
ahead, mate. Go ahead.
Just about the price action. So it's really important, Helen, that you follow the price action first, and it's the price action which is going to dictate the indicators, because they drive the indicators ultimately. If the weekly pivot is calculated from a high, low, and a close of price, that means it is price action which has defined how the weekly pivot is animated, if you like. So we need to make sure we get our price action right. So right now, you don't have a trade on the euro pound long in accordance to the strategy, because it's just a bit of a mess, and as I say, we're going into this this weird triangle pattern here. So that is that. But let's just have a quick look at some of these others very, very briefly, mate. I've got dollar CAD. Oh, sorry, euro yen. Chan, tell me about the euro yen. What we looking at euro yen? Long, shorts, indifferent. Price action, and the trend is to the upside. I don't see an entry right now. There's no trigger there. I'm not sure what strategy you're trading on that. So just give me a bit more detail on that. Can you look at the dollar CAD 2 as it's at a key level? Dollar CAD. Here we go.
It just broke with that key level, actually.
Let's have a look.
I see what you mean.
It's quite tight, isn't it? I mean, the dollar's under incredible stress here. And I have just gone short with an Aussie CAD. So I am long CAD, but I don't think this is ready. I think that would be a bit early. Yeah, I see what you mean, mate. Yeah, it has broken down, isn't it, on the dailies, by the looks of things. We could do with it actually making sure that it confirms its lower move before definitely getting into that. Just make sure. Yeah, it looks like it is breaking through there. So looks like the dollar CAD is breaking down somewhat here. Probably a weaker dollar story than a CAD, but either way, I'd want to make sure it closed down there by the end of the day. So that's still early, but yeah, definitely one of interest. It's in a buy zone though currently, and it will be until tomorrow, because that bar could quite easily
reverse itself.
Yeah, reverse itself and actually sort of like end up giving us a fairly clean buy signal as well. If we've opened, we might go down, might end up at the highs, and end up giving us something of a hammer here as well. So we got to be careful just calling this as a trade at this particular stage. But yeah, definitely one of interest. If it holds down there, that could be interesting. What else we got? A long euro Kiwi this morning, and euro dollar, your long euro Kiwi. I mean, it looks a bit overextended. That's some of the issue with this. Let's just have a look. I can see why you would have gone long. I'm guessing on the 4 hour. So let me just do some analysis on this very, very quickly as well. Euro Kiwi. Yeah, this one looks a bit lofty up here. Tell you the problem that you're going to have, Alan, is that it looks to me like you're trading right into a fairly key horizontal area here, and if it's not there, it's probably there. So I don't love that. And also you're battling with yesterday's bar as well. Now, how you manage the trade from here on in really is dictated by your strategy. But I think entering this in the first place was probably a bit late. And when sometimes we have to accept that. Tesla, I would have loved to got into Tesla, and I missed it last Thursday, and now it's kind of popped up. There's no way I can take it on. Ethereum, I can't take it on. Gold,
just like silver, it escaped from us.
Oh man, I mean, you got your gold short on, didn't you, last week? And
I did got my gold short, and I actually I've been milking this retracement on silver. I got in at 24.30, and I got in again yesterday. So yeah, I'm riding it finally.
Well done, mate. Well done. That's really good. So you managed to get, well, 24.30 is a great price.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Really good price. And I suppose the short in gold helped you get into that.
What helped me got into that was a rejection of gold to the actual structure, the trend line, and the 200 moving average on the 4-hour chart, I think,
Yeah.
and the 50% retracement of the entire move to the upside. So because there was actually no levels in silver to get in on
Mm,
that, right? So, but when I saw that rejection in gold and that reversal, I got in on a rejection of the 24 level in silver. Was a little bit speculative if you ask me, but well, the decision was to get in along in gold or silver, you know. And
yes.
since yes, and since silver is right in this, I mean, these moves. Well, I thought to myself that a rejection at these key levels in gold was enough to get in on that silver long.
Fantastic, mate. I mean, this is such a good trade that. Have you got anything you want to share? But any
Ah, yeah,
screenshot?
most definitely.
Great.
Let's talk about the US dollar. Let me share my screen.
All right, do that. Give me 1 second, and I'll be back in 1 minute. Actually,
Yeah, yeah, go ahead, go ahead. I'll just grab the screen and I'll start doing my thing.
great stuff.
So yeah, so I think that everybody can see my screen, right? Let's talk about the US dollar, okay? And let me just get rid of this. And you know, I was talking about this particular price action in the US dollar, and because of the way that I trade my strategy, um, I am unable to trade this range in the US dollars. So I mean, I've been looking for other opportunities, you know, other than a trade based on a US dollar weakness or strength, in the sense that, well, I look for longer term trends, right? And to me, this is untradeable. Yes, you can trade the bounces of the top, right? And the bounces of the bottom. But the thing is that this is so short term that it didn't give me enough room on a risk to reward ratio basis to get in on some trades that I wanted to take, right? And right now, if you notice, this is the DXY, right? Let's go to the lower time frames because this is quite interesting. We are right here retesting the same lows, right? That we have retested once, twice, 3 times and rejected. And right now we are at the same levels at the low of the move, but also very big targets to the downside, and some very big, this is a very big level on historic price action. Now, having said that, I would not be a dollar buyer here for a bounce. Why? Because and let's just talk about technicals for a minute, right? Let's go to the 4-hour chart, guys. We are in a massive bearish move, technically speaking and fundamentally speaking, right? And to me, this is, I mean, to me, grab a long US dollar base trade would be too speculative, right? So what am I waiting for? I'm waiting for a break of this level and a retest for a real continuation to the downside. And yeah, you might think that this move to the downside is overextended and exhausted because of this range that we are trading in right now. But if we go to the higher time frames, let's go to the 3-day chart, right? You can see that we do, I mean, there's still room to the downside for the dollar to devaluate. And that's what I'm looking at, right? The next leg to the downside. And this is one of the reasons that that I was looking at the US dollar Japanese yen short. And that was a great trade. Let me show you what I did and how we can actually scale in back on that trade. So let me just open the right chart, commodities, and Yep, this is the one. All right, so this is the Japanese yen futures chart, right? And last week I was looking at this particular chart at this exact level, and this is, I mean, this is a massive level, and I mean, I didn't care that yen futures had broken with this somewhat bullish structure, because we were testing a massive level in volume wise, right? If you look, this is the volume profile, and the histogram tells you the historic volume that has been traded per levels. And as you can see here, historic volume has been huge at the levels that it bounced from. So normally when we have these big historic volume levels, we are going to get somewhat a reaction from it. And because we were trading inside of these pennants, I was looking to the upside. Also, cyclicity wise, we're looking at some yen strength, right? And yeah, surely enough, we broke to the upside. And I was looking at, let me just get rid of this. I was looking at the US dollar Japanese yen. And you know
I'm
what?
with you,
I
mate.
mean, yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm with you,
The
mate. I'll just let you know I'm back here.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And the US dollar Japanese yen, I mean, has been untradeable, right? I mean, just look at this choppy range. To me, there was no trade there. And I actually tried to get long a few times here, but I mean, it didn't pan out, of course, as you can see on my chart. But at this level, I mean, the probability of success of a short US dollar Japanese yen, given the strength of the Japanese yen futures and the stallment of the US dollar, was great, right? Now I am looking to get, I mean, I'm looking to, right now we are at the previous lows, testing these previous lows, right? Hold on, this is the 450-minute chart. I don't know why, but let's go to a lower time frame, right? And right now we are testing these lows, okay? The move to the downside, I mean, it has been very strong. Now, if the US dollar, or well, the DXY breaks with these lows, let's go back again to the 2-hour chart. I mean, and right now it's breaking, right? I mean, if the US dollar continues its weakness, and the Japanese yen futures continue its strength, this trade, I mean, is going to, or the US dollar Japanese yen is going to just completely fall from and break with these levels. Why? Because we have the US dollar weakness from one side, putting on some bearish pressure on this currency pair. And on the other side, we have the Japanese yen strength putting on, again, bearish pressure on this currency pair. So what I would like to see is a break of this level and a retest here for another opportunity to get short and scale in on that trade, right? And right now I'm not focusing too many markets, because of what I just told you about my view on the US dollar, until the DXY actually breaks with this level, either to the upside or to the downside. We don't know. I mean, we can have some US dollar strength based on profit taking. I don't know. It could happen, but the downside looks uh, more probable, right?
Yeah,
But
it looks under
until
pressure, doesn't it? And
it,
the thing is, you know, we've got obviously those failed meetings with Capitol Hill, and I
yeah,
suspect as well, you know, with that in mind, then if the U.S. economy needs stimulus and it's not being provided by government, then it really falls to the central bank again. And if the central bank, you know, need to step in, then that should
yeah,
again weaken the U.S. dollar. I would have thought.
yeah,
Um,
exactly. And you know what?
and
Now that you're talking about that, I mean, I read the news about the U.S. Senate going on hiatus for a month without
yeah,
signing the stimulus bill, and the unemployment, unemployment checks are going to expire within a week or so.
yeah.
So I was expecting a big gap down in US equities, which didn't happen, mate.
Yes. Yeah,
That
me
was
too.
very weird to me.
Yeah, me too. The tanker's taken a while to turn, and we are seeing some signs of some weakness in equities across the board.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm completely with you, mate. I mean, I was trying to get into a short last week on the Dow and the FTSE as well, and neither of them played ball. The FTSE did a little bit actually. The FTSE had a
Yeah.
nice big move down, but it's kind of it's a little bit frozen in time. But I agree with you, and it's one of those things that I wonder whether all of a sudden, with maybe a few people getting drawn in, continuing to get drawn into the long, I wonder whether all of a sudden we just get this big move down. Um, and
I mean,
maybe the catalyst will be something else. Maybe the fact that the Capitol Hill haven't done the deal is the thing that's going to hang in the background. But actually, the catalyst comes from something else, and then that thing unfolds even further. So, I'm going to leave some short orders in the market at specific levels because I think that there's a decent chance of some downside.
yeah, I
But I suppose
completely
with a
agree
weaker
with you.
dollar, if the dollar continues to be weaker, then US equities still look fairly attractive.
Exactly. And metals going higher. I mean,
Yeah, I saw copper. The copper index looks like that's starting to get a bit of a boost, which does indicate that there is some expansion going on
yeah,
worldwide. But the other interesting thing, and I don't know how. I know when we were in Bali, you and I were talking about the St. Louis Fed.
the what? I'm
Um,
sorry.
St. Louis Fed.
What is
Was it
that? I'm
you and I?
sorry.
The St. Louis Fed. Was it you and I
Ah,
talking
the
about
San
that?
Luis Fed. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, the San Luis Fed. Exactly. The website.
Yes. So we were looking at the St. Louis Fed and how how what a great resource it is. But
Yeah.
if we're making a judgment call ultimately on what has to happen with interest rates, then it really comes back to GDP. Is GDP going to grow, or is it going to shrink? And it's a very, very small indication, and it's probably the first. But if we go around ticking off those little Fed areas like the St. Louis Fed,
Uh-huh.
and the reason I bring it up is because the New York Fed yesterday posted some numbers of expansion that were pretty poor. So we can almost start to kind of like get our own put our own jigsaw together of what some of these numbers are telling us about what's going to happen next, because
Me.
the ISM numbers have been outstanding, really.
Yeah,
They're
they
sort of
have
like,
been. But the thing is that, I mean, we need to understand where we're coming from, mate, right? I mean, we're coming
yes,
from some horrible numbers. So of course that once the economy starts to reactivate itself, right? And we have much more economic activity. Those big V-shape recoveries in all these indicators are going to happen. I shared, and I'm going to share this with you because, I mean, this is insane. Hold on. Let me go here and here. Just look at the United States retail trade, right? I mean, look at this V-shaped recovery.
yeah,
I mean, this is insane. To me, it's actually, yeah, I mean, it's not real in the sense that because we are looking at percentages, right? Let's say a 15% drop and a 50% recovery does not equal the same amount of trade being uh,
yeah,
traded.
yeah. Yeah, but as you say, just a crazy move. Helen's asking, can you explain the reasoning for your long silver and short gold idea?
Okay, yes, of course, mate. Of course, of course. So let's go back and let's grab the gold chart, right? I was looking at gold, and let me go to the hourly chart. I was looking at gold here. Hold on. And before I go, I start that. This is what I was telling you about. I saw this, that bounce from this structure or from this trend line, the 50% retracement, and that I don't use moving average at all. But I don't know why I plotted in, and and this is the 4-hour 200 moving average, right? That's why I took that long. But I was looking at gold at this level, Helen, and it looked to me very toppy, right? And I know that a lot of traders hate that word. I mean, looking very toppy, because it really doesn't mean anything. But when I saw this move to the upside, and I think that this was during non-farm payrolls. This move to the upside and an immediate move to the downside below this level, I put on some sales stops here, right? And to be completely honest, I didn't cut the entire move to the downside, because I mean that would have been wishful thinking. I took more than 70% here, and the rest I think I took it here. And then I was looking to buy gold, right, on a dip, and yeah, I saw some levels, but nothing like that. But my short in gold was purely technical, just a reaction of what I saw in price action at that moment, right? My long in silver is purely fundamental, right? Let me show you. And it's quite, I mean, it's working quite nicely, because, and again, I am not an Elliott wave guy, but I do like to plot some Fibonacci retracements and extensions, right, at the beginning of the moves. And well, this is the line where I got in, right, in silver. And I mean, fundamentally speaking, I see metals going higher, right? And I was looking for the opportunity to get in on that move, because I mean, these moves are, I mean, basically once in a lifetime. So I mean, just take a look at this. I mean, this move from that high to this low, it's a 20% move in what? In about a day and a half, a day and 6 hours. We rarely see this. So I wanted to get long, because, like I always say, the potential to the upside in silver is massive. So the next level that I see some that is going to be troubling for long-term silver bulls is the 34 to 34.50 level. Of course, that we are very far away from it, and holding that trade to 34.50 is going to be pretty tough. But I mean, if you manage your trade correctly and take profit here and there, is fine. But the thing is that I saw this structure, right? I bought silver at these lows, and I took half of my position here, of course, at the next key level. That's something that I always do, because I mean, I just hate to see, I mean, I just hate to leave money on the table, because I don't know if this is going to be a retracement or this is really going to be a reversal. But when we printed this low last Friday, right, and I'll show you. Let me go to the lower time frames, because this is quite interesting, actually. We printed this low on Friday, and then we opened higher. I think we opened around these levels. And when I saw, and you know what? I used a limit order because of you, mate. When I saw silver coming down to this level, I mean, the risk to reward scenario on this one was great. So I took another one.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, I took another one, which I closed here, because I mean, that was a shorter term trade. But
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, but technically speaking, and fundamentally speaking, this market is so attractive for longs at the moment. You know, it's
yeah.
so strong, and so consistent in respecting levels. And we rarely see a market respecting levels like this, and giving us opportunities with so great risk to reward scenarios. And that, I mean, that's the main reason, Helen. I mean, fundamentally speaking, I wanted to get on that long training metals, and yeah, on a technical basis, I got in on my levels.
And I suppose it's really, it's again what we were talking about before, wasn't it? That this is the move in silver. The the price point, you know, I'm just looking at your chart actually, but I'm just bringing it up on mine as well on the 4 hour. We look like we're at a really key level on the 4 hour chart because of the trend line from the 7th and then going to the 10th.
This trend line right here.
No, the upper one. So if you go to the highest point on the 7th.
Yeah, this one right here.
No, back to the 7th. The highest point on that whole chart actually.
This one. Oh, yes. Yeah. Let me draw.
And that coming down. So if that takes out that now and stays up there, that's going to start looking like it's through, and the next level to test is probably going to be that but back to that point 27.69. So it doesn't. We haven't necessarily missed a potential move, because I think you're right, mate. I think that the potential for this to be a once in a lifetime move is huge, and silver's got a long way to run to get back to its all time highs. Gold has got nowhere near the same opportunity as silver, so it'd be great to try and grab onto some of this, but it does need to hold that level, and if it does over the next 4 hours, then we're just watching to see if it will come back and give us an opportunity really to get us in. But silver looks like this could be the trade of the year, and I think many people have probably enjoyed the profits on this one. We got to be careful that it just doesn't get back up to that 29 or 30 level and just dive down again. But it's going to be a dollar story. We got to keep on top of what's happening with the dollar. As I said, we've got to know what's happening on Capitol Hill. Capitol Hill don't do a deal, the Fed will more than likely either have to step in or be assumed that they will step in. And if they're assumed to step in, then watch out for the dollar, because if that weakens again, then silver's gold, silver, the yen, the euro, all of them are going to benefit from a further dollar weakness, and cryptos as well.
That's it's funny that you mentioned that, because that's a market that I don't trade, but it has benefit from this, right?
Yes, absolutely. Karthik is saying, is it a good time to go long silver now?
No, don't chase that. Don't chase that, mate. I'm gonna tell you something, mate. Whenever I understand where you're coming from, because you think that you might have missed the silver move, but let me tell you, when you're trading the market, the financial market, you have, this is the mindset that you have to go through when you look at a chart. You have never missed a move. You're just waiting for the pullback to get in on that. Right now, and let me explain this to you. Right now, if you're getting on a silver long at this level, where would you put your stop losses? Below this week, right? Below this level, that's a big. That's your stop loss will be very far away. And the thing is that it's very likely that silver is going to go back down and retest this broken level, because it hasn't done so. So if you take a long here, you are going to take on water on your trade on the negative side to see if this level holds. And that is wishful thinking. Whether on the other side, if you wait for that retracement to this level, you see some kind of a reaction or rejection, to this level, and decide to take the trade, the long trade here, your stop loss will be tighter, and your trade is going to have a higher probability of success, because it has a lot of confluence between previous resistance turn support, this trend line that Ash just pointed out, the 50% retracement of this 50% retracement, I'm actually going to delete it, because it doesn't it's an expectation that silver is going to go all the way up here. But you're going to have a confluence of levels right here that is going to give your long trade a higher probability of success, and you are going to have a lesser drawdown than if you take your trade here, right? And if silver goes on and rallies and breaks with the 29 level, well, now you're going to wait and see if it retraces back to that 29 level to buy it. It's all about patience and um, and eliminating that the fear of missing out. And in my opinion, it would be a bad idea to take on a silver long at these levels. But that's based on my strategy. I don't know how you trade, mate. But
I'd agree with you, mate. I'd agree
that's
with
my
you. I mean, I
opinion.
think chasing a market is never a good idea. And the thing is, because I've got a similar issue with Tesla. I'd really like to buy some Tesla, but the problem is when you start chasing a market and you win, you think it's okay, and on the whole, it just isn't. You will get occasions. Like we've seen with silver, the explosive move with silver. We'll get an occasion
Hmm.
like we've seen with Tesla. We'll get an occasion like we've seen with Ethereum, where
Hmm.
they do win. You'll trade a market just because it's going up and it continues to go higher, but it's very irregular.
It is.
And I've picked three instruments out of 4,000. And out of that 4,000, I could almost guarantee that 70% of them just don't do that. They
Uh-huh.
actually get to a point and then all of a sudden reverse. I mean, what would have happened if you got in on the 6th of August? You're trading those
Just
bars as they
imagine
start.
that.
Yeah, or just the 6th or even the 7th. You try and trade those bars as they go higher. Then all of a sudden, you're caught. You're the one who's last in, and you're caught in that move to the
Uh-huh.
downside. Now, to be fair, this has got a marked point that it's probably going to get to at 29.20.
Yeah.
So there's a target there now. So it's likely to do that. But if you want to get in at this particular level, the only other way that you can do it is if you go down the time frames, and you've got to be very, very comfortable intraday
Yeah.
trading if you're going to do that.
Exactly. I mean, mate, you are completely right. Exactly. And personally, mate, I am not comfortable doing that. You
No,
know,
and the only
but
the
that's
only the
uh-huh.
only caveat. Sorry, I was going to just say the only caveat, because intraday trading, there's a time and a place for it. And if you see an explosive market like this, intraday trading is great. This is the intraday trading traders chart, if you like. When you see these big
Hmm.
moves, that's the way you want to trade. But most markets don't look like that. Most markets are really swing trading. They've been much better for swing trading. So there will be opportunities on this one intraday. With such strong, you can see there's 1, 2, 3. There's already been 4 opportunities in the
Hmm.
last couple of days on this one for
Yep.
an intraday trend. Actually, looking at that, there's a really nice break of that trend line, isn't there? So from the highest point on the left.
This one
No, the highest
on the
point on the
left.
left there. Yeah,
Yeah.
that one there, that one coming down and creating that downward move there and there, and then the breakout.
Of this trend line.
Yes,
Exactly.
yeah. Look at that. I
Exactly.
mean, that is a nice opportunity. That
Yeah,
that is
that
a
is a
nice
nice
opportunity to go long.
opportunity.
And there's going to be a few of those. And actually, there's another one on the 17th of February. I think is it 12? Sorry, August. Is it 12 o'clock?
17th of August.
Yeah. Go along a bit further. It's 12. No, so yeah, 12 o'clock. So between 12, no, about 4 o'clock actually.
4
4 o'clock.
o'clock.
Yeah, on the 17th. Keep going along, 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 and then go up from there. That high, the highest point there,
Uh-huh.
and then take to the next highest point.
This.
No. Actually, if you draw a trend line to go through the highs, then you'll see it's angled.
Oh, this one right here.
No. The first one was right, and the second point is right, but angle it up because it doesn't go straight. It angles there. Look at that, another opportunity.
Oh, this one right
So
here, that retest. I
yeah,
didn't see that. And you know that I mean, this is a great example, Ash, of how different how different people see the market, The opportunities are there, everybody can take that opportunity by looking at the market differently,
yeah,
and the reason that I tell you that is because I haven't seen that trend line, but I did see this right here, and this like
yeah.
continuation. I mean,
Yeah.
I just saw it right here when I went down to the 50-minute chart, right? And that to me would have been tradable.
Yes.
It's exactly the same spot on which you would have been triggered for a long, perhaps on a day trade.
Yes. Yeah.
It's quite
Yeah.
interesting, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. But I suppose the point with this one is that on an intraday basis, there are lots of opportunities because it's a really good intraday chart. And you need, as traders to be able to recognize what's good for intraday and what's good for day trade, for swing trading is really important because you
Uh-huh.
need to be able to switch your strategy. You need to, or don't. But you need to know that you just don't trade certain markets if they don't meet your strategy, and the others that you just have to switch into a different way of trading if they do. So you use
You want to
the
see another example of that, mate?
yeah.
I just took this long, whilst I was unable to speak on the show, on the DAX on an intraday basis.
Ah, there you go. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, just a bounce here, big rejection,
Yeah.
and yeah, expecting this, and again, I don't like to use that word, expecting or wishing or whatever, but my stops are at break even, and if we manage to break with this trend line, this previous high looks that is going to be tested.
Yeah, that's a great trade. I really like it because, as you said, and the key with that is the stops at break even. You get in
Yeah.
a nice price, you put your stops at break even, and then, we know that every trade we put on has got effectively a 50-50 chance of working out in some
Yeah.
respects. That as soon as you get to break even, then you're better than 50-50. So that's a brilliant trade. I really like that as
And
a
you know what?
view.
And you know what? It's funny that you say that because when I was first starting with this, with trading, that was one of my biggest struggles to move my stops to break even and don't let a winner turn into a loser. You know,
Yeah.
because my mindset was off in the sense that I realized this until, and because you were talking about journaling a while ago, right? And that's so
Yes.
important. That is so
Yes.
important because I realized this until I started journaling and I started to go back on my trade and I mean and just not, I mean, I'm not talking about just journaling and in the sense that, okay, I took that trade, this is the level that I took it, and whatever. No, I mean, the way that a journal is, even, I mean, I write down even how I'm feeling at the moment.
Mm.
If I'm anxious, if I'm rested, etc.
Yeah.
And and I realized that I was losing so much money when trades just came back and hit my stop losses. And before I started journaling, I thought that because fewer of my trades, I mean, very few of my trades would just come back down below my entry and continue,
Yeah.
that by moving my stops to break even, I was actually leaving money on the table before the move. But that is just because when you're first starting up, you only see the winners and you don't
Yes.
see the losers. That's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they're the ones that really we need to focus on.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think we've pretty much got to the top of the hour, mate. I've got a
Okay,
short actually in
mate.
the FTSE which I'll quickly share.
All right.
And it's only just come into play by the looks of things. The short is here, and it is off the daily pivot here. Where we go? Here we go. It's just off the daily pivot there. I quite like it, and I'll leave it on the market. The I haven't put my stops in play yet, but I'm going to trade it. The stops that I've got are going to be above this level here, so around about the 61.44, and that's just going to give me some room, just in
Yeah.
case it decides to come up to the weekly pivot and fail there. So stops at the highs, and we'll see what happens from that. And again, it's just making sure that there's just not so much money on this one that it makes a difference. But it could still fail here. When we look at this, it could still fail here.
Yeah,
That would be my.
that bar hasn't finished printing just yet.
No, and if anybody wants to get into this, then it might be sensible at this stage just to kind of like give yourself a bit more safety. Might be sensible to get under this level here. Now the idea for this trade is not a 15-minute trade. Okay, we've been talking about longer term swings and everything else in the trade. This is a swing trade with a 15-minute entry, and the swing trade is being generated from, if we look at this on the dailies. And I think you could argue this either way on the dailies. I think you could argue that this is a low. This has taken out this area here. Let me just blow this chart up a bit. We could say that this down here is our low. There's our lower low. There's an area of retracement. It's gone through that area, so maybe a higher low. Sorry, a higher high, and then maybe we could say this is a higher low. Definitely would. I would definitely accept that analysis, and I'm, that's why the stop's in place, just because that may happen. But what might be happening is that if we take this area out down here, then actually what might be going on is that what we really have is something that has failed at the high. Now I'm going to use this closing price here. In actual fact, I probably do need to use that one. It looks like it's failed at the high, broken through, tested that area and rejected it. So that's a possibility. Now we could argue either way on that, but I think what is something that we can all agree on would be if we flip this to a weekly chart, this bar is suggesting weakness. This price action on the weekly is suggesting weakness.
Definitely.
That's what we've got going on the weekly. So and it looks like there was this triangle in place, touch there, touch there. There's a few touches on top. So we got a couple on down. So it looks like it's come through the level, and rather than where we look at the daily charts and have a few questions, this looks to me like a high. This looks to me like a lower low. Now, have we got a lower high here? Possibly. So I think that's worth trading. And considering what's going on in Capitol Hill, I am bearish on stocks right now, even on the medium term. And the overall target is going to be down here. Now, remember, this is a swing trade with a 15-minute entry. So the 15-minute entry might be the issue. That could be a problem. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to change my view until we take out this area. If we take out this area here, then just get rid of these. We take out this area here over this week, then I will change my view. If we take out this high, I'll be actually into bullish mode rather than bearish mode. But I think there's enough here to suggest that there's a possibility of us breaking down. Look at that line too. So it might even struggle as we get back to these highs. That weekly bar is
so bearish.
The weekly bar really is, yeah, and it really did crash down towards the end of last week as well. So I think that's usually quite telling. The end of the bar is usually quite significant. Now it's only Tuesday, so it's got. We're looking at a weekly bar here, so it might be that by Thursday or Friday we actually start to see the move that I need to see. So I might get taken out a few of these on the way up, but I'm willing to keep probing and seeing if I can get the timing on this one right, because I think stocks could be under pressure. We got to consider that the S&P is at near all-time highs. Gold continues to push itself higher. The yen is strengthening. The Dow is at potentially key levels. The Nasdaq, forget it. You're not going to read anything from the Nasdaq.
Forget about the Nasdaq. I mean,
it's just doing its own thing, isn't it? I mean, did you see the move in Tesla yesterday?
Yeah, I did see the move in Tesla.
Just astonishing.
And at that pace, it's going to cost less to buy a Tesla than one share of Tesla.
Well, do you know what? Do you know what's happened? And this is the reason that Tesla's had a bump to the upside, is that Elon Musk has split up the shares. So you can now buy, so you can buy a fifth which brings the cost right down. So all of a sudden, everybody's like, now I can afford to get to enjoy this move.
Exactly.
So
And you know what? I mean, I forgot to tell you about this, and I don't know if you heard about it. And when I heard about it, I didn't believe it because I mean, of course I fact checked it, and it's real. Warren Buffett just bought gold miners.
Barrick Gold, yes, he just bought Barrick Gold, and Barrick Gold also had a near 12% jump yesterday. So
Exactly
if we
because
are
of that.
looking, but it's really interesting because if you look at Barrick Gold, we've had an 11% jump in Barrick Gold yesterday. However, if you look at the likes of Fresnillo, which is a UK mining stock, and Fresnillo
Uh-huh.
mainly sort of like deal with silver. Fresnillo are looking at on a 4-hour chart, and I encourage you to bring it up somewhere. But Fresnillo on a 4-hour chart is showing a head and shoulders, and it is up less than 0.5% today. So the move in
Okay.
Barrick Gold yesterday was definitely a Warren Buffett move. So I am looking to buy Barrick Gold for sure. But the suggestion that I am seeing from some of the other mining stocks is that the move yesterday was overinflated and overexcitable, and it will probably come back a bit. So,
I
so
understand.
it's not a gold move. The Barrick Gold wasn't a gold move. It was, and I wouldn't be surprised if gold's moving off the back of Warren Buffett's purchase of Barrick Gold as well. To be fair, which means that this particular run may not have much in its sales if it's just off speculation that Warren Buffett's bought it, so let's buy it. That could last a day or so before we get some fundamentals kicking back in again. So if it's a fundamental move in gold and silver, it goes higher. If it's a Warren Buffett move, I suspect we're going to get another opportunity to go long.
Yeah, I completely get it, and I'm with you on that. But yeah, I mean, but just the idea that Warren Buffett is betting on gold miners, it's
Yeah.
mind blowing.
Oh,
And
it tells
I
you
mean,
everything, doesn't it?
it tells you everything exactly. I mean, the guy got rid of all of his airline shares, all of his
Yeah.
bank shares, but Bank of America, and he's now betting on gold when he has been anti-gold his entire, I mean, career.
Yeah.
So there's something there, and I
Yeah.
mean that tells me that if I mean this person is getting involved in these commodities because there's still a lot of room for a metals rally.
Yes. Yes, I'm completely with you, mate. I think that's what we need to garner from it. We're not going to get any timing out of what Warren Buffett's done, but we'll certainly get
Exactly.
a longer term view, which is the way he plays it. He doesn't buy anything for a week or a month. He's going to be holding
No.
that for many a long year. So Warren Buffett looks like he's pretty bearish on the U.S. economy, or certainly bullish on
Yeah,
inflation.
definitely, definitely.
So yeah, totally with you, mate. And I am certainly looking to get into the gold story and the gold picture, and I will get in. I've just got to find my way in. But just like we were saying earlier on, that chasing the move is just not my game, because it will come back at some point and give me an opportunity, and I'm just waiting for that.
That's great, mate. That's great. That's how this game is supposed to be played.
Yeah. Thanks so much, mate. Really enjoyed it. Really appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for having me, mate. I
Oh,
really enjoy this. I really enjoy these shows.
yeah. Well, you're in later on as well, aren't you? You've got a show on YouTube.
Yes, with Chloe
In
at 7:45 p.m. Singapore time.
7:45 Sing, and then we'll follow you. And then later
Exactly.
on, we've got the US show with Shukri, which again, mate, as always, you are more than welcome to join.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. I'll take you up on that.
Okay, mate, no worries. All right, well, we'll see you later on. And for the rest of you, have a great afternoon, great evening, wherever you are in the world. And Jeff and I think it might be me and Chloe actually in the morning, but we'll be back tomorrow at 5 to 8. Thanks so much, Orlando. Join Orlando later
Okay.
on as well in his show. And I'll see some of you also on YouTube for I think it's 1:30 UK, which I'm not sure what time that is in Sing time. I guess it's about, is it 8:30 Sing? 7:30 or 8:30 Sing. I'll see you guys back on YouTube. Have a great afternoon, guys. Thanks again, Orlando. See you soon, buddy.
Yeah. Cheers. Bye, everybody.